Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. In today's video we are going to be talking about an extremely beautiful Echeveria called as Echeveria Red Hole. Now you might have seen the thumbnail, looks can be deceiving. It perfectly fits in for this succulent because when you are going to go on the website to purchase this succulent, you will be seeing an image of an extremely beautiful red, extremely stressed succulent which is completely red in color, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will go ahead and purchase it the moment it is there on the website. But there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. This succulent is extremely fragile, it's very delicate. Apart from that, it's not necessary that the image that you have seen on the website, that is exactly how you will be getting your succulent. You can see this red coloration. This is how the entire succulent tends to look like when you give it a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it. But that is just the tip of the iceberg, because most of the times if your postage or if the succulent transit is delayed, probably let's say for 10 days, 12 days, or let's say a hypothetical situation for 15 days, this is the first succulent that will start getting rotted. So that is where the major issue starts, because it's very fragile. It cannot stay inside a closed dark box for a longer period of time. Apart from that, the colors will only be visible if you are going to give it a good amount of sunlight. If you're not going to give it a good amount of sunlight, then the colors are going to disappear. It is going to look very pale green in color, like the one that you're seeing on the screen right now. Now, the reason why mine is not very colored, you might have seen most of my succulents are very colored. The reason behind that is because these are small little pups. I had a mother plant which I lost while shifting from one house to another. I was able to survive 2 to 3 of the pups. So they are being kept in indirect bright light so that they can grow healthy. Exposing them to direct sunlight in one go will burn them. Forget about the red color, you might end up getting the brown color, so be extremely careful. Right now, if I have to expose them to morning direct sunlight, I have to do the entire process, which I will be doing later on. So right now, because of the renovation, I'm not able to give a good amount of care to my succulents, but they are pretty much doing quite well. So once everything is done, I will definitely start acclimating it to morning direct sunlight, and probably in a couple of months you will be able to see a little bit more of the coloration on them. Now guys, talking about the soil mix, they prefer the same type of soil mix which I tend to use for all of my succulents, which is loose, porous, well draining, and should be very lean in nutrients. It should not be very organic, otherwise it will have negative effects on your succulent. Apart from that, this succulent does not like moisture in the soil for a longer period of time. It can easily get rotted. As I said, it's a very fragile succulent, so you have to be extremely careful. That's why if you are a beginner, I would say just hold on to your shopping cart, wait for some more time, gain some experience, and then you can buy the succulent, because initially it can be a little tricky. So water only when the soil is completely bone dry. You'll have to do a complete watering until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Ensure that when you're going to be doing your next watering, the soil has to be completely bone dry, pad dry. Do not let the moisture stay in the soil for a longer period of time, otherwise that will rot the succulent. Now mealybugs, I haven't seen much issues with mealybugs on this particular variety, but as you'll all know, Echeverias are very prone to a pest attack, so it's always better to be vigilant. As a precaution, you can sprinkle some dry cinnamon powder on the upper layer of soil. Propagation of this succulent is as simple as like any other Echeveria. You can do a leaf propagation. You can separate the offsets like the one that I did. I'll put up the image of how the mother plant happened to look probably a couple of years back. I will share the image. So I had separated the offsets from the mother plant. Leaf propagation is also an option. Stem cutting won't be an option in this because it's an Echeveria. There is no evident stem unless it's starting to stretch. It's more closer to the ground and it's much in a rosette form, so they do not tend to put out like those really long stems how our sedums or sediverias tend to put out. Now another important thing, please do not add fertilizers in excess. It will damage the succulent. The lesser nutrients are there in the soil, the much better it is, especially for people who want the color, because remember, as I said, the images on the website are going to be like a full red, blood red colored red hole. But when you are going to get, maybe they might be colors, maybe they might not be colors. But if you are not going to be providing it with a good amount of morning direct sunlight or the adequate amount of light, the colors will not come up. If you're going to add too much of organic matter in the soil, if you're going to be watering it quite often, if you're not going to be giving it a good amount of light, there is no way that the colors are going to show up. The colors will only show up when the succulent is stressing. Because I see this quite often, a lot of people say, but the seller, when they displayed the images of the succulent, they had a lot of color, but now the colors are missing. So guys, succulents do not have permanent coloration. The colors tend to change depending upon the season. For example, during the dormant period, the succulents will be extremely colored. When they tend to get into their growing period, the colors will disappear. They will turn more green in color during the growing period. So the colors are not permanent, but if you want to enhance or if you want to extend that coloration, then you have to stress the succulent. That is basically by giving a little bit more of direct sunlight, morning direct sunlight after acclimating it, and a little bit less watering. Fertilizers also have to be very less. If you're going to give more fertilizers and more watering, of course the colors are not going to show up, because the succulent will start losing on the pigment, that is the anthracene. So it's extremely important. It's not necessary that just because the website is selling a very colored succulent, it is going to stay colored at your place. It will definitely change, because the colors tend to vary upon how much of light you offer it. So be extremely careful. As I said, it is a very fragile plant. Only if you have a good experience with them, because these succulents are not very cheap. They are very expensive. Red Hall is a very expensive succulent. So you want to think twice before getting this succulent. You do not want to get it and kill it off. So if you are a beginner, just hold on to your cart, wait for some more time, get some experience, and then you can go ahead and purchase this succulent. This succulent most probably will not do quite well in a high humid environment or a very hot environment. They prefer a slightly dry and cooler environment. So again, you'll have to check what environment you belong to before you purchase this succulent. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.